Hello there, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Ty, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint some of your favorite movie scenes. Now in today's painting, we're going to be doing this scene that I found from the first Rocky movie. The Rocky movies are pretty special to me. I grew up watching them all the time and stuff like that, so I thought this scene in particular would make a really cool painting just because of how dark the background is and stuff like that. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into materials and we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so for today's painting, I'm going to be painting in gouache, and for that, I'm going to be using this gouache palette. I just got it off of Amazon, and as far as my brushes, I'm just going to be using regular synthetic brushes that I got from the craft store. Alright, so what you just saw there was my watercolor palette. That's my travel palette that I keep. It holds about like 10 colors. And so I'm using a quinacridone burnt orange as well as I believe permanent crimson. Kind of using a blend of those, not mixing them thoroughly, but kind of leaving it random. And then I'm going to go ahead and start laying in the background. This is going to be just pure black, and then we'll go back over this later. You'll notice too, right around this part, I'm avoiding the places where I'm going to be laying in different colors later. So right there is where the ropes of the ring are going to be. So I'm just avoiding those, that way whenever I lay the color over it, it won't reactivate the layer that's underneath. Now, gouache is not my typical medium that I use. If you've seen previous videos, I like to use oil paints and stuff like that. They just give me a lot more working time and a lot more flexibility as far as what I can do. And I think the end result comes out looking a little cleaner, but I do like using gouache for these little studies like this where I can just relax, have fun, and I'm not worried about it. I wouldn't do this for like commission pieces, but for little studies like this, and especially a movie scene like this that I really love. It's a sentimental movie to me that, I don't know, I feel like gouache lends itself to these types of paintings. Although I'm switching mediums on this painting, my technique is pretty much the same as my technique for my oil paintings. Basically, I'm working from what's furthest away forward, as well as working from my darkest value to my lightest value. And value just means how dark a color is or how light a color is. Another thing I'm doing throughout this painting is saving my highlights for the very end. So even though the brightest spots are in like their trunks where the light is hitting them, I'm not gonna put bright white right at the get-go. I'm gonna work my way up to that brightest white. Now, one technique I use for blocking in the figures in the portrait is I try to think of masses or shapes of color and then start with general big shapes and then work your way down to smaller, more manageable pieces. For example, here in Rocky's chest, I'm gonna be laying in his general skin tone value for that area. And then as I go, I'm gonna be lightening where I need to lighten, darkening where I need to darken, or adding more saturation where it's needed. Now, another thing I recommend with any of your paintings during the process is to use the biggest brush possible for any given task. So for laying in the values of Rocky's chest or Apollo's back, I'm not going to be getting out a tiny 000 round to lay that in. I'm going to use a bigger brush that just saves me time as well as makes it easier for you during the painting process. I will only break out these small brushes for mainly the details in Rocky's face, where the bigger brushes obviously can't do that job. And with any painting process as well, not just with gouache, my process is I'm going around, especially with a little study like this, and just laying in colors and values and then going back and refining them and fixing mistakes along the way. You don't have to lay in every brushstroke perfectly the first time. I would make it a method to work in this way to save yourself some stress, and I think it comes out with a better product anyway. Another thing I try to focus on during this process is what hue my colors are. That just means how red, how green, how blue the color is. And you'll notice that in Rocky's torso, or his skin colors are a lot more orangey yellow, where Apollo's skin tones, I'll be painting a lot cooler colors, a lot more greens and blues are coming through. At this point is where I'll start laying in my lightest lights. Toward the end, I'll be dipping my brush directly into my tube of white to lay in the spotlights of the white spotlights in the back, as well as the highlights in their trunks, on their boxing gloves, as well as on their skin. I would recommend that anyone who's trying to get into painting use this medium and go ahead and get started. Don't worry about having the best materials, the best process. It's going to take some practice. And just like Apollo says in the movie,
there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
All right, that about wraps it up. My name's Ty once again, if you haven't been here before. And if you'd like to see the full version of this painting, you can go ahead and check out my Patreon, linked in the description below. That tutorial is about an hour long, fully narrated, and you get extra insights into my process, materials, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, leave a like and comment down below if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.